When I came out, I graduate. I went to university and I realized I didn't know how to handle money. I didn't know simple things like a rental agreement and what's a fair rental agreement and what's not.
Mhm.
I didn't know how to do a bank account, manage a bank account. I thought overdrafts were free. Even though logically I sort of didn't. I saw my overdraft as free money and a way of getting myself out of trouble for this month, thinking that next month it would all sort itself out. But of course, how is it going to sort itself out if the same income is coming in each month and it's not enough? It's going to keep on being not enough. And now I've got debt to pay back and interest to pay back. And none of this is done in school. And I mean, I don't understand why. And, I was lucky. I learned to cook before I left, at home, I learned how to cook. But I know a lot of people who lived off pot noodles because it was the only thing they knew how to eat. They knew how to cook.
Like ramen noodles, like the
Yeah, like
instant
ramen
noodles.
noodles, except but when they read recipe books and it said chop, dice, braise,
They didn't know what to do.
they've never actually chopped anything, so they didn't know what
Yeah.
chopped. They didn't know what meant by chopped or braise or I mean, okay, you've got the American thing of over there we say grill, over here we say grill, you say broil. That confused me when I went to America.
Really?
Because you read, I got the joy of cooking and it said broil this, and I thought, well, what on earth is broil? And then someone said it's grill, and okay, we're back on the same page again. But this isn't taught. None of that's taught in school. That's not taught. Self-advocacy is not taught in school. Self-advocacy is so important for every human being, and we're not taught how to do it.
And this is nasty.
Oh my gosh, gorgeous.
No, we're not taught. We're not taught how to be self-sufficient because kids are taught how to be self-sufficient, but I can't say that autistic kids are because I feel like not that I feel like all the lesson plans and everything else are for neurotypical kids. They weren't made with the thought of autistic kids in mind, I guess. I don't know what I was trying to say.
I mean,
but
I mean, things, simple things like, we won't really talk cookery, but I mean, I still think at some point somebody needs to write a spoons cookbook so that you have a range of recipes. So
yes.
if you have a 0 spoons day, a low battery day, what can you eat that's nutritional that you can pretty much open a tin and go for it? Versus I've got a good battery today, so I can do something quite fancy and interesting, and maybe even freeze up a batch of it so I've got something for my low spoons days. But to know when you start a recipe that you're going to make it to the end of the recipe, because there's a number of times I've done that where I've started a recipe and I thought, oh, looks great, fantastic, and about halfway
never finished
through,
it.
I run out of battery and I just end up putting all the chopped ingredients in the fridge and hope that tomorrow I will have enough battery to finish it off. And we go back to fish fingers and waffles.
Fish. Hey, that actually doesn't sound that bad.
Fish fingers and waffles is relatively nutritional, and so this is my 0 spoons, one of my 0 spoons foods.
Is fish sticks and mac and cheese, or chicken nuggets and mac and cheese.
But you have instant mac and cheese over there. We don't.
Well, I mean, I know how to make it from scratch. You use milk, butter, some just a tiny bit of oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Um,
Yeah, but
like,
over here you have to boil the pasta first so it's cooked.
oh no,
Then make the sauce, and
oh, you
then put
don't
the
have
sauce
Kraft
together
mac and cheese.
and then
Like,
bake
you don't
it.
have the boxes
We
of
don't have the
instant mac.
boxes.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so y'all, so you do have to do the whole process to.
So
Okay,
we
yeah,
have so for mac
yes.
and cheese we have to do a whole process. So
Hmm.
mac and cheese actually would be a 6 or 7 spoon one for me. Um, where
Yeah.
when I was in the States and I found mac and cheese over there, I thought, oh my God, my life is a happy place now. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, some food that the Americans just add water to should never. That is not food.
No.
Some of it doesn't look,
There,
but mac and cheese in a box, definitely.
yeah, like I will say, I think like there's some box foods that we have here, some instant made stuff that I just like stuffing. I don't think you should have stuffing made from a box. I think you should have like actual bread with the different stuff and whatever
And
else
the
you
thing
put in it.
is, I mean, that is, that's one that can easily be a zero spoon, pretty much a zero spoons thing. Because I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
on a high spoons day, all my crusts of my bread, I blitz them. So I have a
Oh.
big bag of breadcrumbs in the freezer,
Mm.
which means then I just have to spoon out a certain amount of breadcrumbs in
Mhm.
the stuffing and throw an egg in there, and you've got stuffing. Well, and the herbs and stuff, but again,
Yeah.
I have those frozen up.
Because I also think like salads are easy to make. If you get a really big bag of just romaine or iceberg lettuce or whatever, um, and you have that um with the the breadcrumbs. Like I don't know.
I
Like
know. I mean, for me, most
there's a lot of
lettuce.
meals
Yeah,
that we can create that require very little spoons
yeah,
that we're just not taught
yeah. I mean, salad
because
to
we're
me
always
would be a
taught you
no
got to
because
make these big meals and you got
yeah.
to cook for 20 people at a
Oh.
time. Like no, you can make small little personal meals.
Well, I mean, because I mean, the thing is, I mean, English food anyway tends to be, to put it politely, vat food.
Oh gosh.
Mince. I don't think you've got an equivalent. I don't know if do you have mince over there, an equivalent of mince over there?
Um
So
we have
you
a like
basically,
minced meats.
yeah. So it's sort of like sloppy
Yeah.
joes.
Oh yeah. We
It's
have
sort of it's sort of sort of
yeah.
it's sort of around that, except less flavor. Um, so basically, it's onions and carrots and mince fried together, and then put into a gravy.
Oh.
Um, so because it doesn't take any more effort when you've got a food processor where you can just blitz things, it takes no more effort to blitz one onion as two onions and two carrots as three carrots or whatever. And when you're frying it, it takes no more effort to fry a pound of ground meat as opposed to 4 ounces.
Hmm.
So since it costs the same amount of effort, you may as well do a batch of 8, break it into 7, break it into 8 pieces, and then have free 7 for later.
Right.
So those things and casseroles. I don't think that's really a thing over there. You have casseroles occasionally, but not so much in England. In England, in the winter,
Meal prepping. Uh, a lot of people are starting to meal prep over here too. Like like just cooking a large amount of chicken or beef on the weekend, and then like sanctioning out little meals for each day of the week.
I mean, that makes sense as well. I mean, you can, you know, if you cook up some chicken or meat or whatever and just have it sitting, you put it back in the freezer, pre-cooked.
Mm-hmm.
That goes in a pan real quick. It's finding out what will and what won't freeze. That's the only problem. Sometimes things don't freeze. But
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
and this is where salad goes. I mean, salad goes south for me on two counts. One, it's lettuce. My brain just tells me
You don't
lettuce.
like lettuce?
No, lettuce is a not food. It's bitter. It's too bitter for me.
Oh,
My
okay.
my young person loves lettuce. One of
Mm-hmm.
their favorite summer snacks is just to get an iceberg lettuce and just peel off the leaves and eat the leaves by themselves.
I can't eat lettuce.
Just
Like
just just as a
I enjoy salad, but I no, not like that.
no, and I can't. I mean, but yeah, for me, no lettuce. And the other thing is because I get it because I think I ought to eat it because it's good for me and it's healthy and it's greens and vitamins and things. And so then
Mm.
the lettuce and I will have a staring contest for a week in the fridge before finally the lettuce gives in and turns into compost. And we
Mm-hmm.
start the process again as I buy another bag of lettuce because I am going to eat it this week, and then we have a staring contest for a
Hmm.
week. So I've learned now. My brain says lettuce is not a food. There is no point in trying to persuade my brain that lettuce is a food because my brain will never believe it.
Eggplant. You couldn't pay me $1 million to eat it. I don't care if it's roasted, fried, baked. No, I don't know. No, what is the appeal and the taste,
Ah,
the texture, the squishiness, the well, I guess that is
well,
texture, but like I just don't
yeah, the squishiness. I like the squishiness, the softness of it because it blends into other
no,
things. But what I really
no.
like about it is it'll take any flavor because it's got such a mild flavor to itself that once you
Mhm.
throw in curry spices on top of it really picks up the curry spices.
I mean,
And
with
if
curry,
you
yes.
if I cook it, I mean, you got to peel the skin off. Once you peel the skin off, if you cook it in a sauce, because it goes to nothing, it actually just becomes sauce. It
Oh.
just makes a thicker sauce.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I have had some very bad. I've had it done very badly, and when it's done badly, it is gross. It's slimy. It's
Yes.
um, yeah, it's
Like
just
I would need eggplant with a meat of some sort. Like I wouldn't be able to just eat eggplant by itself. Like I think if it was made properly and like nicely, I would have to try it with a meat.
yeah. No, I do it in a curry. I do it as a vegetarian curry, and I do it as a
I
masaka
would have
bake.
to I would have to work up to that.
But
Uh,
but the thing is, you can't tell it through the once it's had the tomato, once it's got the tomato and the potato involved, um, it it's more bonded. But I couldn't. But yeah, no, lettuce is still a no. Um, and I'm not a very picky eater. I'm much more a stim eater. So I get um food. If food is new, I will give it a go. Um, because
Me
I want
too.
to try the new taste and textures.
Yeah, I'll always try something new,
And I
but
like
I've tried that eggplant once, tried it once, never do it again.
yeah, no, I mean this is the
No,
thing though.
but I think that's probably the only food though
Yeah.
that I like I've tried everything. I think I've tried like I've even tried iguana and that was good. Okay. backstory, I have family down in Guyana. They literally live in the bush. So my cousin asked me if I wanted some food. I was like, yeah. He's like, you ever had iguana? I was like, no. Are you talking about the reptile lizard things? He's like, yeah. He goes, shoots the iguana. He shoots a couple of them in the backyard, and then comes out, puts it on the grill. He cuts it up, skins it, you know, cooks it, everything. He serves it with some rice, and there you go, curry iguana with rice. And I think he had potatoes in there. It was very interesting. It was very it was very so like no like I'm sitting here thinking like what foods would I say no to, like besides eggplant and sour cream. I don't know what it is about sour cream, but it's the texture of that too. Like I cannot, it cannot make it past the middle of my tongue before I start dry heaving. And I don't know what it. I think it really is just the texture. Like
Yeah, I mean, we are
I
very,
like
you know,
but like I cook everything.
yeah. I mean, we're very prone to texture at times, and I mean, there's, I mean, there's
Hmm.
research to show that a lot of autistics don't have their poison sense switched off. So you know, until you're 3, you have an
Hmm.
automatic it's one of your infant reflexes. Is the poison sense, because obviously everything up in your when you're 3 goes into your mouth, and you know
Oh
the
yeah.
universe wants to make sure that if a child sticks something in their mouth that's going to kill them, they spit it out pretty quick and don't
Yes.
ingest it. It's a pretty good survival plan. And
Hmm.
you know the theory, you know, so but after 3 they kind of figure that 3-year-olds after 3 they don't do that anymore. They're a bit more discerning about what they put in their mouths, so you don't have to worry about that. You can just trust what the parents are feeding them and go with that. Except for autistics, a lot of autistics don't have that thing. So things that classify as poison, so things that are bitter, we can have a very strong response to. Things that have a, to put it nicely, a rotten texture. So eggplant.
A rotten texture.
Yeah, well, if a, you know if a fruit is slightly rotten
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
and you eat it by mistake and it's got that slightly breaking down texture that cooked eggplant has.
Hmm.
And possibly possibly the sour cream is because of sour milk. If milk is off, it'll have somewhere of that texture. I don't know. I mean, but something in your brain has told you that this is a poison, and therefore do not eat it.
No, I'm thinking. I'm sorry. You're probably reading my face. Like what is he thinking? I'm thinking. I'm just because there's been a number of foods that I've eaten in my entire life where it was like that, where my brain was like, no, 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 don't eat that. That's bad for you. When like I've never even had it before, and my brain is automatically like, no, don't eat it, don't eat it, don't eat it. And so that's kind of interesting to think that our brain does tell us that some foods are poisonous and some aren't, when we haven't even come into contact really
And
much with
you know, it's
the,
not that effective always because it doesn't always get it right. So eggplant actually is fine, but our brain won't believe it because
oh yeah, 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 I'm
and
sure, I'm
and for
sure.
me lettuce is too bitter. So my brain is going unripe fruit. Unripe fruit is going to make you very sick. Don't eat it. Um,
Hmm.
and so we sometimes miswire, and we can sometimes retrain our brain. And you get to the stage where you've got someone like ARFID, where the brain sees just about everything in the
Hmm.
poison category. Um,
Okay.
and it could be that, I mean, they reckon that one of the reasons is because of dyspraxia or apraxia.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are young and you have apraxia, dyspraxia, eating and swallowing and chewing enough and eating and swallowing, getting that coordination together, sometimes a little bit iffy.
Mm-hmm.
Which can end up with you choking on something or vomiting it up because it went down the wrong way and you didn't quite get it right. Well, of course,
Whenever, even
as soon
to
as
this
you
day,
vomited,
whenever I eat rice, I always get rice in my nose.
yeah, and
Always.
but as soon as you vomited, if you have a very strong poison sense, your brain is going to go, uh-oh, that made you sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though it's a perfectly normal food and it's not in the
Poison
danger
category.
categories,
Yeah.
the brain gets the choice of safe foods then gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
what parents then totally get this wrong, because then they get anxious and they start hovering over the young person to eat this, try this, try this. Well, if I have a strong poison sense and my adults are radiating anxiety about the food I'm about to eat,
Mm-hmm.
what is my spidey sense going to tell me right now? It's going to
My
say, don't
spidey
eat it.
sense. Yeah, correct. My spidey sense is gonna say, get rid of it. Remove.
This is not safe because
Exit.
my parents are anxious about this. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that the parent is anxious because you're not eating. They just pick up the anxiety. So it's going back and just saying, look, if all you want to eat is sausages or Complan and have protein shakes and biscuits, we'll do that. And in the meanwhile, we'll play with food and you can test food off my plate if you feel like it. And if you don't, no big deal. But and it's really hard as a parent because if your child isn't eating, your anxiety is going to be high. And to be able to say, no, actually, the only way I can reverse this is to take my anxiety away and make food fun again. And not a threat and not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't understand, you read all these reports and think, if you just talk to autistics, you'd know about the poison sense. If you just talk to autistics, you'd know that this stuff was going on.
Isn't that the issue, though? No one wants to talk to us, but they all want to assume they know. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
And they go picky eater, and they get, and then you talk to someone who has ARFID, and they go, when I put this food in my mouth, the signal I'm getting is I am eating a live slug of that level of revulsion. And it's the poison sense.
Yeah.
It's saying, spit it out, because this is going to kill you. Except actually it isn't, but the poison sense doesn't know that. And it's retraining the poison sense into, and it is, with my young person, we did, as a parent, I became the royal food tester. Because if I ate it, then they could see it was safe.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't mean they say they were going to like it, but at least then they felt comfortable enough to try it.
Right.
And I always had to have a side plate to the side because 90% of the time, what was going to happen was they would take a little bite and spit it straight back out onto my plate. And that's where I draw the line in parenting. Is having food spat back onto my plate.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mind you spitting it out, but use the side plate, please.
As your parent, I love you, but as an autistic, don't ever do that again. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, we didn't find out till much later that they are also they also have, what's it called? when you have an aversion to people eating, the sound of people eating,
Mm-hmm.
why is it that when you just have the word, it disappears on you? Can you remember what the word is?
What's the word you're trying to find?
So when you hear somebody eating, and it can
Mm-hmm.
be for other sounds too, but mostly it's for eating, it makes you very anxious and on edge. Begins with A, and I can't pull it
Oh,
up.
hold on. I know what word you're talking about. The aversion to hearing people eat. I know. I know what word you're talking about. Misophonia.
That's it, misophonia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we never realized for a long while that they had misophonia. We knew they would not sit at the table. Under any
Right.
circumstances would they eat with other people. And, because kids know what's best, what their needs are best. And
Mm-hmm.
if it isn't impacting other people, if it isn't hurting other people, what's the issue? So if they wanted to go and eat in the living room, then they went and ate in the living room. I mean, eating is eating.
Right.
And it turned out later on, we found out that they had misophonia, and quite strongly so, really strongly so. So what was happening was when they were asked to sit at the table with other people, as soon as everyone started to eat, their anxiety levels went so high they couldn't eat because they were trying so hard not to scream. Would you ever shut up? This is dry. My head is about to explode right now. Don't do that. And we found that if they wanted to eat at the table, we had to have music on. We had to have TV or something on to drown out other people for them to be able, if they wanted to be at the table, if they wanted to be part of a family group, that had to happen. But the thing is, but a lot of things you don't need to know why, if you accept that they're doing it for a reason, even if you don't know what the reason is.
Oh, but I personally always have to know the reason behind something. Like I can't just do something like absentmindedly, or I can't, like, because that is, I mean, to me it is doing something absentmindedly. If you don't have a reason to do something, what are you doing it for? Why are you doing it?
Yeah,
You're doing it without thought. So yeah, that is absent-minded
yeah.
acting,
But I mean,
and I don't like that.
everything has a reason, even if we don't know what it is. And I mean, one of the things I find for executive function, knowing about executive function explains so many of my task avoidance issues.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone said, "Oh, yeah, you're just lazy. You just don't want to do it." And I thought, well, no, I do want to do the thing. I want to do this thing. They go, "Oh, but you just like having a messy house." I said, "No, I don't like having a messy house. I hate having a messy house. I feel ill and stressed when my house is messy. I just don't know how to go from this chaos into neatness. I don't know how to do it, and I don't know how to start. Even though I want to start, I can't start, and I can't figure it out. And of course, when you know about executive function, then you know why your brain is going, no, we can't start, because we haven't got complete instructions to go from A to B.
Right.
Or we're going to be doing it in a way that asks our brain to task switch over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, if you watch tidying shows, which I did avidly to try and figure out the solution, it didn't help. But they task switch all the time. They pick up this, they put it away. So they pick it up, they identify where it's got to go. Then they go and put it away. They sort it, they organize it. Then they come back. Then they pick up something else again. Whereas, of course, our brains work much better if we do pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, sort, 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 sort. Push in the right place, put 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 in the right place, and keep it a single task. And my brain would look at it and go, yeah, that's too many task switch. I can't do that. you're going to be exhausted. You know, we've got 10. You'll have 10 minutes. If you do that, you'll have 10 minutes max, and then we're out.
I never liked having time constraints either. Especially ones that were like kind of loosely imposed.
No, especially if they're not achievable.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Especially that actually.
Because and I mean I've got time blindness anyway, so I can't tell time very well. I
I
need
always have a clock right out, like I have my watch on my wrist. Like I have to know what time it is at
yeah,
all.
but I have
At
to
all.
check. I have to check it and keep on track
Yes.
because I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't have a sense of it.
Yes.
And
Yes. Like unless, but no. See, that's why we used to be outside all the time because we could tell what time of the day it was
yeah,
by looking up at the sun and saying, okay, it's the middle of the day because the sun's right above my head, or okay, the sun is hovering right above the tree line, so I know it's afternoon, getting ready to turn evening. Or,
yeah,
like we used to be, I don't know, we used to use our heads,
yeah,
but then we got lazy with technology and clocks and everything else. And
yeah. And then and then they stopped us hibernating in the winter, and they stopped us,
yes.
and started in England. We got this, British summertime, so they keep shifting the clocks by an hour, which totally does my head in. Um,
Wow. Yeah,
but
I have a friend, her name is Lily, and she she was just telling me yesterday about her like the British summer times, like over in the UK, and how like hot and cloudy and gray and humid and rainy it is for you guys. And I mean it's rainy and humid here, but it's nowhere near as cloudy as it is over there.
no, we haven't seen the sun this year. I don't think. I'm trying to remember. No, no, we did. There was 2 days. We've had the sun for two
Oh
days.
God, that is wow, 2 days of sun.